Well, it's curious again. Where was I? Ayn Rand. Okay, let's talk about Ayn Rand. I think she got it half right. Ayn Rand had some ideas that mainstream conservatism doesn't grasp, and even libertarians don't like to admit. And some of those are that you simply have to take account of the growth that you're going to have in your individualism. But what Ayn Rand didn't understand was that half of that growth also comes at the price of decay. You see, it's not just growth, but you have to understand the forces of entropy, of which liberals, progressives, whatever, anyone left-leaning does understand that. Now, the anarchists want to make it out like there's no government on one side and complete statism on the other. I don't agree with that. Technically, it's accurate, but I believe it's more functional to split it between social and economic issues to give a varied perspective, a grid. I've talked about social deregulation too much. No one seems to understand what I'm saying. Well, let me say it like this. If there was two mottos to be an example of a catchphrase of what kind of egalitarian I am, those would be either Kennedy's The High Frontier or Johnson's The Great Society. It's amazing Johnson was hated as much as he was. Because despite Vietnam, he was the architect of modern liberalism as we know it in our society. Civil rights era, everything, all that. Welfare state. A lot of things I agree with, but can't see a problem around with enablement and disenfranchisement. I'm talking about everything having a tipping point. It gets oversaturated and it falls to the other. Because in a capitalist society where class is held by wealth, our class system, our caseless class system is by consumerism and wealth. And then once you get up into the one percenters, it's by power. Because then you can start influencing laws and the economy. Oh, and there's some more tea that's ready. Really, it's just tea, people. No, but I mean, I've been trying to talk to some people, and it's like, I cannot get through. And screw it, I'm just gonna say it. You know, no, okay, I should put this more gently because, I think John Paul, who I've been commenting on his videos, and I know I name names, you bring them up. You know, you include them. I think he's just trying to understand what the hell I'm trying to say. You know, and I understand that. it's very hard to understand what I have to say. I do a lot better in comments, or at least I think I do. But Don Quixote Qua, oh, you've been ribbing me, and you've been doing it on purpose. I know you have. You shit. It's alright. You're my Jiminy Cricket of freaking liberals. And that's alright, because I am a economic progressive. But I am a hesitant progressive. Because, not that I have some, well, I do have some conservative reservations, to be honest. But not just because they're conservative. Because, even if it's anecdotal, I've had a lifetime experience of being on the dole, and I've seen it. I've seen the welfare state. I've seen poverty. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen the war on drugs. I've seen drugs. And I've seen how enablement, entitlement, and disenfranchisement all affect the working and stigmatized poor. Why do you have to have a friggin'... No, I'm not going to start ranting. It's just, why do you have to have a friggin' address to get help? And now they completely cut off welfare. But I feel like welfare friggin' fueled the damn friggin' rap wars of the 80s. You know? And all the friggin' poverty, because it was entitlement. But the opposite of poverty and entitlement is people take more chances, people live harder lives, and they die in hospitals or friggin' on the streets or with violence. Or in riskier job-related injuries, for anything from stress, mental breakdown, physical breakdown, or just being driven into friggin' poverty. So, if you entitle them, they live. And they become a problem. And the crime rate goes up. If you don't entitle them, they die. And now I'm going to get a bunch of shit about, oh, you think they should just die. No, I don't think they should just die. I think people should live without increasing the surplus population. Oh, yeah, Scrooge, here you go, Curious. But no, I mean, I want assistance to increase the quality of life and people's individual liberty. And that's almost an oxymoron. And it shouldn't be. But yet, it is. And if I was someone, well, I am someone who wants more assistance for individuals and less assistance for groups or certain types of demographics, then this becomes a problematic issue. As it was in the 70s and 80s, when you had excess, greed, avarice, and what Don Quixote likes to call the throne of Mammon, or the worship of greed. Greed is good. Well, maybe that makes me something of a utopianist, but when it comes to Ayn Rand, and I think a lot of people like Ayn Rand because they romance the image of her. And I think that can be traced right back to a 1930s picture of her which was Art Deco on Reason magazine. And that's the whole romanticism of Ayn Rand. And what does she signify? Strong, independent woman, free thinker, smart, moving up the social scales, independent, and wealthy. Becoming wealthy. Now tell me that isn't the friggin' sum end goal of everyone who is an economic progressive. Is it to be just doled out to your specific little niche and no more? Or is it to be self-sustaining and enjoy an affluent lifestyle? Even if it's small, big money. I wouldn't even know the numbers right now. 20,000, 30,000 a year. Is that low? 50, where you can have a little something. Of course, you have a little something, and you have little someones. And some people who are religious have a lot of little someones. And then people come here from hoarding in once the gravy train starts rolling. And see? So, how? How does it work? Really, I wonder. But yeah, in a consumer society, status is wealth. And so, we have to make room for ecology and economy in a realistic manner, if it can be done. That's why I like some of the ideas of Ayn Rand. I keep wanting to say Ayn Rand. Beyond strictly the romanticism of it. And, in a certain extent, Rush 2112. An album I used to like when I was a kid. So, there it is.